Well, the bulk of the research that's performed in our lab is done through funding by the federal government, by the National Cancer Institute, which is a member of the National Institutes of Health. We also get funding from the Department of Defense Congressionally Mandated Research Fund, which is a special fund set up by Congress specifically for breast cancer research. And that funds most of what we do. Now there's two very important problems with this. One is that the funding levels have become very, very difficult, and that they've become much more competitive, and a lot of high quality research therefore is not funded. And this is an enormous problem as our country is distracted by having to expend large amounts of money, billions and billions of dollars, in areas not related to medical research. Does this impact us? Absolutely, it impacts us. And it makes it much more difficult to depend on the federal government for research funding. Now the other important problem related to funding is that most of the funding mechanisms fund fairly mature work. I mean, you already had to, we have a little saying in the research, you have to almost have already done the research to get paid and funded to do that research. Now that's not exactly true, but the idea is that you have to, if you've got a good idea, how do you start working on that idea? You really don't get a grant until you've done a fair amount of work in that area already to prove that it's interesting. Well, how do you do that? I mean, that's a real problem. And so this is where donated funds really come into play. They allow the seasoned investigator to, with a good idea, to immediately launch on that idea and to assess whether that is going to be productive or not. And this has been the greatest value for donated funds to our lab. And so all the things that are on this website were launched by donated funds, but then sustained and really put through its paces and funded then largely by the federal government in a competitive grant process. So the amount of dollars that we've had donated compared to the amount that we've gotten subsequently from federal funds is about 1 to 20. What that means is for every donated $1, we've achieved $20 of grant funding, which is, that's pretty good bang for the buck for donated dollars. So what has it done for us? It's allowed us, number one, to greatly accelerate research by taking really high-risk ideas, which may be pie in the sky, and bring them to a point where they can get funding. And it also provides a certain sense of stability, which is very, very important as we worry about whether the next grant's going to come through on time or not. We'll have these sustaining funds to get us through this process. So the donated funds, are they important? They're not just important, they're critical. And that's what this website really is all about, and what the Ireland Foundation is all about, is accelerating these advancements to get out and move it through the development stage to get to patients. So thank you very much.